All right, welcome back. And, a few weeks ago, we interviewed on this program the state treasurer of Louisiana. We're pulling out from BlackRock almost $800 million because BlackRock has these ESG policies that are anti-Louisiana, anti-oil and gas, which is such a big part of our economy. And kudos to the treasurer for doing that. Other states are taking action, and we wanted to talk to a real expert who follows a lot of these issues. Been on our radio show many times, director of the National Center's Free Enterprise Project. Scott Shepard is with us here on Ringside Politics on Real America's Voice. And Scott, how are you? Good day to you.
Jeff, how are you? Good to talk to you this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks so much for being with us. So let's talk about Missouri, and let's talk about other states pulling big money from BlackRock over their Woke ESG initiatives. Tell us more.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really exciting development, and it's also exciting for what it symbolizes, because Missouri has taken out hundreds of millions of dollars. South Carolina, as you say, Louisiana, West Virginia started this trend. Arkansas is on board. I think we're going to see a lot of other states do that, well over $1 billion. Now, BlackRock controls $8 trillion. Well, invests $8 trillion in other people's assets. But that number used to be between 10 and 11 trillion. They've taken quite a pounding as the market's fallen. And the market's fallen for reasons that they can't hide from, because they support the policies, they support the decarbonization nonsense and the lack of energy growth in the United States. They support the equity-based discrimination on the basis of race, sex, and orientation that are driving this administration and driving down the markets. And so what we see is a BlackRock that's on the ropes. Red states are responding by taking their money away from BlackRock, but they're also responding by teeing up and passing state laws that will, and executive efforts from 19 attorneys general that are going to investigate BlackRock, are going to investigate its CEOs, Larry Fink, and his claims that somehow, even though his big policies are the same whole of government policies that animate the Biden administration, that somehow that's not woke, somehow that's not partisan. And even though he relies on, Mike Bloomberg's completely biased climate catastrophist models for pushing other corporations to decarbonize, somehow that's not biased. So BlackRock's in trouble.
So Scott Shepard, BlackRock's not changing. They're doubling down on this ESG nonsense in the face of all these funds being taken away from them?
Well, it depends. Larry Fink always talks he's a well-named fella. He always talks out of both sides of his mouth. He says he's not partisan when he's completely partisan. He says, investors can invest in ESG or non-ESG funds, but then he uses all the funds under BlackRock management to push for hard left results. So he's telling these states, oh no, we don't oppose energy expansion, which nobody's questioning. Of course, they favor energy expansion. It's just the stupid, unreliable kind, right? So you can count on Larry Fink to speak out of both sides of his mouth constantly, but I think they're scared.
Well, I love the fact that these states are taking action. I hope more do, and I hope they really do pay the price, because we got to fight back against this wokeism that is out there. Let's talk about your piece that I really enjoyed reading in a commentary for Real Clear Markets. You talk about how these billionaire executives misconstrue capitalism. Tell us a little more about that, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, up and down the line. You've got Larry Fink, you've got Brian Moynihan at Bank of America, too big to fail bank, backstopped by all of us, every taxpayer in the country. And to a lesser extent, you've got Jamie Dimon, who again talks a good game, but his company still debanks conservatives. And so what these fellas seem to misunderstand about capitalism is literally everything. Mike Bloomberg thinks that what capitalism means is him dictating, him taking his partisan positions, saying that they're not partisan, and then pushing them, forcing them on the rest of American corporations and therefore on American society. Larry Fink thinks the same thing. Jamie Dimon came out got a lot of attention for saying it was the road to hell for America if we jumped too quickly on renewables. But what he then suggests is a Marshall Plan for American energy development. We don't need a Marshall Plan. That's not capitalism, nor is his claim that to shift American corporations to stakeholder capitalism, which is just CEO autocracy. What capitalism is all the individuals in the country working and doing what they want to do without overregulation, without constraint, without dictation by these self-appointed masters of the
Right.
universe to make the economy better. It's the invisible hand, and none of these guys recognize it anymore.
And you are doing us all a great service, calling out everything that's going on at BlackRock, everything that's going on with these billionaires. And I'm sure a lot of these people have gotten their billions because of taxpayer money, I would assume, because of deals with governments on the local, state, and a national level. And maybe we need to take a look at that. And
They call
Scott, I don't know.
legal bit.
Yeah, can you, Scott, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can.
And my final question to you is this: as far as these billionaires, why are they all left wing? Why are they all liberal?
Well, in most cases, it's because they didn't start these businesses. They're just business school managers who were taught leftist nonsense as they came up through. And because it's in their personal self interest, they want to fly their private jets, they want to live in giant mansions, but they want to feel good about themselves. And the way they do it is by keeping their jets, keeping their mansions, but forcing us to live carbon constrained lives so that they can feel good about themselves.
Right. I say to that, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Scott Shepard, we'll visit again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great work you're doing at the Free Enterprise Project and, of course, the National Center for Public Policy Research. Thank you, sir.